In a fun junk journal dream, DJ's crafting grungy scenes. Hither and yon, where friends all meet. Paper glue and vintage treats.
Hello, my crafty friends and creatives from around the globe. Welcome to Hither and Yon Studio. And if you've been here before, welcome back. Hello, old friends. Hello, new friends. If you are new here, my name's DJ, and today we are working on our free May craft along kit, which is Poppies. So Poppy Paradise is the name. And it's a free mini junk journal kit that you can get by following the link in the description box. So that's under the video. There's like a little title and then some text, and you usually see more or more. If you're on a TV, it might be a little different. You have to go to the info section, but there's a link in there and you can get your free kit all throughout the month of May 2025. And so we're going to work on this today. I'm going to put the cover together, and I have a little fun idea for that. So that's what we're going to do. But as you can see, I'm all prepped. I cut out all my pieces and inked them. So we are all ready to go and decorate once I have this cover together. I've also put together my journal pages, and I did insert some extra pages from my stash. So I just had some coffee dyed paper. I did a batch of avocado dyed paper, and I had some leftover scraps. So I put them all in here, and now we are going to put this together. So what I want to do is a spineless journal. And the way that that's going to work is I'm going to do a 4-hole stitch, because this is smaller. If this were a taller, regular, like 9x6, then I would do 6. But because this is tiny and mini, we are going to do our cover. Well, I'm going to do my cover like this. So I'm going to walk through the steps. I have a couple of pieces of ribbon that I want to use, and this one needs to be evened out. That I grabbed from my stash, and you could grab a couple of pieces of ribbon or fabric, whatever you have, to kind of play along if you want to do the same thing. And it doesn't matter what width it is. What matters is the directions in making it fit your journal. So I have 2 signatures that I made using the pages from the kit and my extra stash. And then I put this one on the outside of the first signature, this one on the outside of the second signature, or it could be vice versa. It doesn't matter. And then I put this one into the center of the second signature. And then I put this lovely one in the center here. Okay, and the rest is just kind of all filled in. So now that I have my pages together, I need to get my covers together. And I thought I would use this beautiful poppy from these tall pages in the kit this month. And then I'm going to need something on the inside. So I thought I would use the ladybugs. And I'm going to use this set of ladybugs. And so I need a front and back cover. This is definitely going to be the front. And then I'll just use, maybe I'll use this on the back, this section here. But I need it to be, actually, yeah, I'm going to have to use something else for the back, aren't I? Just because of the length. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so let's pick something for the back. Maybe we'll use this. Yes, okay. So the cover I want is going to be just slightly bigger than these. And so I'm going to go with 4.5 by 5 3/4. 4.5 wide by 5 3/4 tall. And since this is the piece I want, I'm going to put this on the 4.5. Actually, let's do the 5 3/4 first. And I'm cutting the ladybug at the same time, just to save time. Then we'll do 4.5. Okay, so this will be my first cover on this side. And then on the back side, I don't think I'm going to get 5 3/4 this way. I could do it with this one. Okay, so it'll be going in a different direction, but I'm going to use the ladybugs on the inside of the back cover. And actually, that's 5 3/4 and 4.5. Yes. And I'm wondering, oh, I can get that for the back. Okay, great. So this will be 5 3/4. Then I don't have to use this one. By 4.5. Okay, so this will be my back cover. I think I'll go this way. No. No. Yeah, because of the flowers. That's fine. So I have my front and back cover, and yeah, I'm going to need 2 pieces because I'm going to need to sandwich these under in between the 2 pieces. So, and then I also want to get something to tie up my journal with, so the pieces that are going to come off to kind of tie it up. Okay, so I think I've settled on this because I like the color with all of this. I don't really have any red ribbon, so I can't go about using that. Everything I have is too pink or too orange. It just didn't seem to work. All right. I think I want to ink these. And I do want to round the corners, but just ever so slightly. I'm not going to make them super rounded. I'm going to use my tiniest corner rounder just to take the jagged edge off, that's all. And this is my We Are Memory Keepers. It does 3 different sizes. If you don't have one, you can just cut them off with, you can just round it with a pair of scissors. Or you can just leave them pointy. It's up to you. All right, and I am going to ink them, so I will do that quick and be right back. Okay, we're all inked. I have my front cover and my back cover. They're not glued together yet. I'm going to... okay, so before we do the covers, we have to figure out our holes, right? We have to figure out where we're going to punch our holes in order to accomplish what we're going to accomplish. So let me just give you some insight into what this is going to look like. I'm just going to grab the front. What's going to happen is I'm going to have the 2 pieces like this, and we're going to have the cover on top, and then we're going to have the back cover on the back, and then this is going to connect the cover, but we are going to string it through where we do our stitch here. So it's actually going to go under the stitches, and in order for me to make sure that it's going to go under the stitches, I have to measure where the holes will be. Now I've cut a piece that is the height of my journal pages. It's off by a tad, just a tiny hair on each side, only because it took it to an even 5 1/4, and I just wanted it to be a nice even number. When I put this in the center here, it's not going to matter. I'm just going to make sure that when I line it up, I'm lining it up with a hair on each side. So not a big deal. But the main thing we need to do is figure out kind of how our ribbons will lay, right? So this is going to determine where my holes are. And I'm going to put a hole above the ribbon, below the ribbon, above the ribbon, below the ribbon. And so you don't really have to measure unless you want to. We all know that I do not want to. So we're going to take the easy way out. And I'm going to put a hole here. And then down here. Okay, that's our first. And then here. And just below. Okay, and so that is where our holes will be to accommodate our ribbon. Now this is just the back ribbon. This ribbon is going to hold it together, and I only need to glue this in place, so we don't have to measure for that. I have my pokey tool and my my bookbinding kit here off to the side. You don't have to have a bookbinding kit. It just makes things easier, but you know, not everyone has it. So you can just use a pair of scissors to poke your holes, or something else with a sharp point to poke your holes. And then you're going to need something to use as thread. I'm going to use waxed thread, which came with my bookbinding kit. And my bookbinding kit, I believe, is in the description box below. You can get it on Amazon. It's fairly inexpensive, but I know that's a relative term. So what you can do is just poke it with whatever you have, but we have to, this is going to be my template, so I'm just going to poke the holes here so I know where they're going, and then this is going to get centered into my pages, and I will be able to line everything up. And I am going to mark the top so that I put them in the same way in both signatures. And I'm going to pick out some thread. I think I'm going to go with black. Actually, I have this black, which is darker. And so I'm just going to measure out 2 pieces to kind of tie these together. And I'm going to have my strings on the inside, which is usually my preferred method. So I go 3 lengths up. I usually have more than enough. 3 lengths of from here to here. So 1, 2, 3, and that's how long I make my thread. All right, pokey tool ready. I need my needle, and you could use an embroidery needle, but you need something to poke your thread through. And then I just want to make sure that my pages are the way that I want them to be. Okay. And we're just going to connect them. We're not connecting them to anything in particular. We are just connecting them within themselves. And then we're going to use our ribbon to kind of hold them to the cover. So I'm just going to make sure everything is kind of forced down. Actually, let me put my piece in here. And I want to center it so it has just a hair at the top and a hair at the bottom because of the way I made it. And I'm going to clip and make sure that I'm grabbing that that template because I don't want it to move. Okay. And now we can just poke our holes. Some people put these in a book. I don't. I just kind of put my pokey tool on the hole there, and then I fold the book in on itself so that I make sure I'm getting it as centered as I can. And then I'll do the same here. Watch your hands. These are very sharp. See, by folding it, it kind of makes sure that your hole goes in the center of all the signatures. There we go. Okay, and if we look, we'll see that our ribbon will feed right under there. Okay, so let me thread up my needle. And I'm just going to do an up and down, up and down. I'm going to start at the top, which is a little different than, I'm going to take out my template because we don't want to sew that in place. And then I'll just clip this back in. And sometimes it's good to just take your pokey tool and put it in one of the holes so your papers don't shift around while you're doing this. We're going to start at the top, or you could start at the bottom. It doesn't matter. And we're going to go in through the top and then just zigzag through. So if you want, you can kind of take a clip and clip it on the end so it doesn't pull through on you. And then down through this one, up through this one, and down through this one, and then we're going to reverse and go back the other way. So, and the only thing you want to be careful of is not to pierce through your thread, because if you pierce through your thread, you're not going to be able to pull it tight. So I just like to kind of pull it back out of the way, and then we need to go back through that hole. See, it just naturally wants to pierce the thread. Hold on. Sometimes if you go back in with the pokey tool, you can give yourself a pathway. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to go back through this center here. Again, trying to avoid that thread. And then we'll be back up here at the top. And I'm going to have to realign my thread. You see how I have too much down here and not enough up here. So I'm just going to pull this one back a little and weave it back through so I get some more at the top. Nope. Going the wrong way. Hold on. There we go. Didn't want to behave. Okay, there. And now we just want to take these off and kind of pull everything so that all of our lines are taut. Okay, and then we're going to tie it off in the center here. I'm going to go up towards the top. It's a little easier with the wax thread, but it's always helpful rather to have if my fingers would work, a second set of hands, but we don't have that here in the studio, so I'm just going to get it as tight as we can. There we go. Okay, so this one is sewn together. I'm going to do the other one and I'll be right back. Same way. Okay, so both of our signatures now have our ribbon. And so what I'm going to do is we're going to feed, did I say ribbon? Our string, our wax thread. I'm just going to feed this ribbon under these two. Just wants to fray like mad. It's okay, it'll be glued under, so. And then this one will go under here. And nothing is going under that one. It was created in an effort to get these to work together. Okay, like I said, if I had a larger journal, I'd probably do 3 pieces of ribbon and do 6 holes. All right, so our ribbon is fed through. I want to make sure it's nice and even. Now I'm going to just pull these apart a little, just so we have some room to work in our journal. And then I'm going to get, that's the back. I'm going to get the inside of my front cover. And we are going to glue the flaps in. Don't worry about this bulking up. You just want to make sure they're even. And in the effort of that, let's grab some of these. Just want to create some space. That should do it. And then clip the front, just so we don't have everything kind of moving around on us. Okay, and I'm going to get some 3-in-1. We're going to glue it to the inside of our front cover and the inside of our back cover, and then we are going to glue them to the other pieces of our cover. If my glue will let me clean it up. Okay. So I'm using this, my Fabrifix / 3-in-1 glue, because it's fabric ribbon. And I'm just like eyeballing where I want my cover to be. So like back to front, top to bottom, make sure everything's lined up. And we'll do the same here. Okay, and these are going to be glued as my closures. Uh-oh, don't touch. Getting glue on them. I'm not even gluing them yet. Okay. And so I'm going to glue these here. And here. And now I have to figure out where my front is. Okay. So we can take all of these out of here now. And so now our journal is attached. We just need to get our other covers on. So this one's going to get glued to this, and then the other one to the back. Easy peasy. And there's a lot of open spine options out there. This is just one that you can do that I feel is more beginner friendly. So if you've never done something like this before, it's a little easier. There's, I think it's Copic stitch or Coptic stitch, where your seam shows on the outside your signature ends. Plus there's openings here where you actually have a piece of your journal going around. We're going to do one of those in the future, but this is the one we're doing today. And then we will put our back on this way. So it's not that difficult. I know that some of you are going to say it's too fiddly for you, and that's fine. You can just do a regular 3-hole pamphlet stitch. You can do a tab binding like we did in the Ladybug journal last year, the tag journal. So you can do tabs as a binding. You can also use those magic clips that I got and showed you in a recent video for the easiest binding method ever, and do it that way. But this is how I wanted to do mine. And there we go. And now we have our open seam here, which I need to make sure it's nice and dry before I go fiddling with it. The Fabrifix takes a little while to dry, so. And I want to make sure it's down nice and tight around those tabs. So that it's not like protruding out. And then I'm just going to come in here where I poke those holes. You can see some of that paper. There we go. And that is my journal assembled. And it lays nice and flat, which is something else that's really great about this. And I have room. And even if it does become a little gator mouth, I can always, you know, kind of tighten it up with this. Which I like that it's big, because when you tie them in a knot, into a bow rather, it's nice and fluffy, which I like. So that is our cover. And since that didn't take too awfully long, we can create a couple of pages. I'm still gonna put some stuff on the front, but I'm gonna let this dry nice and good and well. And here on this front, I was thinking it might be cool to put, that's a lot of the same, isn't it? Okay, we're not going to do that. I have these circle pockets, so maybe we can put them. Where are you? Here you are. We have the lovely bird. That's our cover, so we probably don't want that right here. That's kind of cool. I do like that. Actually, if I move it up a little, then I can put a little element here too. So this is just going to go straight down. I'm not going to make it a tuck behind it or anything. I am just going to place it down. I did print on the other side of my ephemera because I wasn't sure what was going to be used and what wasn't. And then for the pocket, we just go around the outer edge. And these are made so they could be side pockets, so you could put them that way if you want, depending on which image you have that you're using, but this one I'm going to go like that. And then let's see what imagery we have here. Like that. Okay, so that is going to go down on there. And in this pocket, I can put a couple of these tickets. Like so. So, first page done. Woo! Moving along. All right. I know you guys are going to kind of take it and run with it, but I'm going to build out. Let's see. Let's go to the back. Maybe we want to use another one of these on the back. You know, this would be cool. I think I'm going to put it down. If I could put a bunch of die cut flowers coming out of there. Ooh, maybe out of the back. So maybe for this one, let's see which way. I like these up top. So I am just going to kind of put some glue like this because I want to tuck some die cuts down the back a bit. And I think I'll use some black ones so that they really show up. Plus, that's usually what I have available because I use them a lot. So we'll do that. And then make our pocket here. I love all the ladybugs everywhere. Oh my goodness, it's so sweet. Poppies and ladybugs, they seem to go hand in hand. Okay, so I have these. I have some green ones too. I do like the black though. So I'm thinking I have to cut them. Not going to see all that anyway. Let's see what we have in the green. These get messy quick, which is why I usually have them in a book, but I did not get these into a book, so here we are. Just see what these green ones look like. I think I'm going to stick with all black. Now you could fussy cut out some flowers from a magazine or a book if you don't have some die cuts around. So don't fret about what you don't have, just find something you do have. I think there's too many. All right, so we're just going to put this one. Let's see. That. Like that. Yeah. Just making me want to put it in the middle. I don't know why. All right, this is probably a problem too. Yeah. All right, so this is one of my favorites. These are Tim Holtz. I think it's like wildflowers or something. I just love them. Ooh, almost lost it. Good thing it dries clear. All right. All right, and then I am just going to seal this down because I don't want it to stay open. All right, so that looks cool. And then I have birdies in here too, but I thought it would be kind of cool to put maybe a feather since I used the black. And then I could put one of these black birdies on there. Maybe not that one. Let's see what else. We will find one. There we go. Kind of like you. No, but the ladybug from the kit would also go there. That would look cool. I just happen to have these out. And I love these birds, so I want to put one in. But like he would go there too. Okay. Perfect. So that's that. I think I'll put one of these in here too. Nice. All right, let's do another page. I have all of these pockets and tags. Journaling cards. Oh, I love this one with the lady. I think I'll put that there, but I'm going to make it a pocket like that. I think I'm going to take one of like these. Maybe one of the buttons. I think it looks kind of cool there, and then the tag can fit over there. And I have some more of that green, so I'm going to use a little of that on this tag. I'm going to sew it. Okay, so I did that. So that page I think is good. This is good writing space, but I think I'll stamp on it so we have some lines. I want to get something to put under it. I'll just stamp down this side. Just going to use some Stays On Jet Black and my line stamp, which is from a recipe card stamp set I got on Temu. And these were the stamps to do like the lines for the recipe. But I've since turned it into this. Actually, I kind of like it with just one. So, let's see. Maybe we'll put some on this one. On the bottom. Because then it's nice to kind of be able to put some imagery. You know, fussy cuts or stamping above it. Or below it. Depending on where you stamped it. There. And if you can write that small, I'm not sure I can, but maybe you can. All right. So we have a little bit of that. And then I could put, don't want to use everything up at once, but hey, we're in it to win it, right? Let's see what we got. We got our little bicycle. You don't really fit there. Oh, I did grab this before. This would also make a cute tuck. So let's use this. Kind of do that. And then we can use some of our extra papers to do stuff too, which is why I always include them. So you can make extra tags, tickets, cut stuff out if you have a die cut machine and things like that. That's kind of cool. So maybe we'll turn this into a tag. That's a little too big for that one though. Trim it. Ooh, there's nothing on the other side, so better yet. Let's see. Ooh, okay, hold on. I folded it a little short, so I just got to share it up. Okay. So this would make a cute little book. Let's round the corners, and then I'll sew some coffee dyed paper in the center of it. I always have that on hand. Or just some cardstock if you have it, or copy paper, whatever you have. If you printed out some of your extra paper, you can throw some of them in here. And I'm just going to sew it up the middle, but you could also staple it in if you have a really long stapler. I don't think mine will reach. I do have a really long one, but it's way over there. I don't want to get it out. And I have the sewing machine, so I'm just going to use what I have. All right, so I'm going to measure it. And I'll just put a couple. I think we need like 1,000-page tome. Just need a couple of pieces. So let me ink my center line so I can actually see it when I'm sewing. And let's ink this. And I never seem to get a straight line down the center. I'm going to blame my machine, but it's probably me. And then we'll have a little, maybe we'll use it somewhere else. I'll be right back. Okay, not too bad. But I do realize now it's not going to fit in there, so we'll save that for something else. And let's grab out one of maybe our smaller tags. Yeah, that works. Actually, do I like that one? I think I kind of like this one. All right, let me see if I just have like sometimes I have like little bits of red thread or scraps. What are you? Oh, this might work. This was given to me in Happy Mail, so maybe I'll take a piece of this because it's kind of poppy-esque. I gotta get to the poppy-esque part though, like this. And we can kind of put that through here. I still haven't found my other hole punch that I had like this. I have no idea where it went. It's kind of crazy. I've had it like for 20 years and then all of a sudden it's gone. So strange. That's a little long, huh? Let's cut this. That works. Put that back. And maybe I can thin this out and make a smaller tag for in there. Yeah. Little tag. I like that the poppy's kind of peeking out the bottom there. Of course, this side has nothing on it. That's okay, because if you wanted to write a little quote or something, that is perfect for that. Seeing if I could like that. Let's kind of give it something up there. All right. So that's that. And I don't know, maybe a word or something. Let me see what word stamps I have. All right, I found these. These are like sentiment stamps, but they will work. I think they will work fine. And I thought I would stamp in red. So, choose happy, rise and shine, hello friend, thankful for you, sending hugs. Yeah, because they're sentiments, but Let love shine. I'm going to use that. I need a tiny little stamp block. And we'll go with red since it's poppies. All right. All right, I haven't used these before, so I just want to stamp off on some paper quick. Oh, yes, darling. I do love it. These are Temu. I don't have a link to them because they always change stuff anyway, so you never tend to find the one that you had before anyway, but you can look on Temu. They're just called sentiment stamps, I believe. And there's a bunch on here that I think would be good for this one. So that's that. Let love shine. We'll do one more page and then I will call it done. I do want to put something up here. I thought that bloom would look really cool up here. I think because I want to do this poppy on the front. Yeah, like that. But I'll raise it up, so I'm not going to do that yet, though. So, where were you? Where did I just see you, sir? There you go. What do I want to put up here? Nope. I could do that. That'd leave me some room for, like, drawing. Doodling. Do you guys doodle? Let me know in the comments if you doodle. If you doodle in your journals. I do like to doodle. All right. So that's that. And let's go on this one. Ooh, I love the blue. What can we do here? That's kind of cool. This would be cool as I could kind of tape it in there and then flip it over and write on this side. And then I wouldn't lose this. So let me get a piece of washi. It'd be great if I had something with poppies on it. Ooh, I have these polka dots. Let me see. Although I don't know if this is a good color, but I do like the pop of color. Look. Oh, we're going to use it. I think it's just perfect. For adding in another page. And I like it against the blue and the green. And then we have some more writing space here, which I love. All right, so we did that. It's not really a page, so we're going to do something else. Oh, that would make a cool little tuck, wouldn't it? And then it looks like it's going to the poppy. Yeah. I don't know what we're going to fit in that tuck. It's not a very spacious tuck. But we could put some little tickets or something in there. Yeah, I don't think any of those are gonna fit. Move this out of here. I have the tickets that came with the kit. However, I also have leftover scraps that I want to use. So I just saw some ticket stamps somewhere. Here we go. So let's see. Haven't opened these. Also Temu. Pretty sure. Oh, we got a couple, so let's see. Got this one. I just need to kind of grunge up the back because there's nothing back here but white because I didn't print on the back. And then I realized that I cut all the white parts off before I had a chance to put them back through the printer because I was in a rush. And I said, oh well, whoopsie. That's why they make ink. Okay. So now we can get our ink. I have some of this. This is VersaFine Clair and it's Morning Mist. I had a smaller block and I just had it. So where did that go? Oh, here it is. Sometimes you got to get a little ink on it and stamp it off when it's a new stamp. So okay, let's see what we get. Looks like I already have too much ink on it, but let's see. No, it's perfect. Perfectly perfect. Where'd the other one go? Here you are. Okay. I like them. And what I want to do is kind of make it look like a ticket, right? And we have, some decoration on the other side, which is fun. So get your ticket stamps out or your tickets or whatever. So that can tuck in there. And then we'll get this one. Actually, I think it would be cool to stamp in red. The rest of these aren't really tickets. That could be a ticket, I suppose. But you know what? I'm going to do this one again in red. Where were you? Up here. This one, I'm going to do it in red, and then I think it'll just stand out a little more here. Man, stuff just disappears. This is a juicier stamp than I'm used to. Stamp pad, not stamp. I want to know what my brain sees that it does that. Not well, I'll tell you that. Okay, so then we have this little red stamp. Apparently I need more ink. There we go. All right, maybe we could put something on the back of this. Let's kind of give it a little life. What do we have? What do we have? What do we have? I have the ladybug. I don't think I want to use that yet. I'm only getting started. I don't think I want to use any of it. I'm just going to leave it. Move you over there and put you over here. There we go. Okay. All right. So we got started. We're underway. You have an idea of a new way to do a cover if you'd like to, though you don't have to, right? I just try to show you some ideas and you can decide if it's something that you actually like to do or not. So if you did enjoy today's video and the assembly of our journal, please give this video a thumbs up and leave me a comment below. Please let me know where you're tuning in from and if you're making along with us and if you already got your free kit. I'd be interested to know. And thanks for watching today. I hope everyone has a good day or night, and I hope I see you in the next video. All right, guys. Bye.